Good morning and welcome again to the special edition Living with Lupus. Thank you again for joining us this morning on behalf of God Vision. We are so appreciative of you following with us every month as we bring awareness to you with regards to health issues or pandemic crisis or just bringing knowledge to you all together. We're grateful for this time of sharing and this platform that have been afforded us to be able to come into your living room or to wherever you are today. So thank you again for joining us. Many as you know, the month of May has been identified as National Lupus Awareness Month. And so with that, we are excited to be able to partner with a national organization, Lupus Research Alliance, which is a part of who we are as it relates to Jehovah Jireh Praise and Worship Church Center. So I'm excited to be able to bring to you this morning a special individual who is passionate about what he's doing with this organization to help educate the public on raising awareness of lupus. And also another important factor is raising funds for research and finding a cure. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce to many of you on this virtual phone, as they normally say telephone, but this is a virtual phone, I'm going to call it this morning, if you will. So I need to be able to share with you this important information today and this very important individual whose compassion has gone beyond the norm to the point where he's taking charge and taking lead on this great initiative. So it gives me great honor and pleasure to introduce to many of you and to present to some this special guest co-host this morning, someone that I have had the pleasure and honor of serving in ministry over 23 years. Wow, I just did the calculation this morning. 23 years, that's a long time, but I am truly grateful and honored. And he's an extraordinary leader, an extraordinary coach, a great encourager. He's a teacher, he's a preacher, and a phenomenal visionary. And ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to have the honor of calling him my pastor, as I might have the honor of calling him our bishop. Bishop Carlton, Bishop Rudy V. Carlton is on with us this morning, and I am so excited that he's accepted our invitation and gave the green light to be a part of this amazing initiative. And so Bishop Carlton, he's here with us this morning. And so if he can join us, I'm excited. Thank you, sir. Yes. Bishop actually licensed me back in November 2003. Go figure. And he ordained me as an elder in the Lord's Church July 2010. So I would say I've been around a long time, and our journey has started way before then. But as I said, he's a great leader. He's a great coach, a great visionary. He will see things in you that you can't see within yourself. So I'm grateful for God for allowing me to be on this journey alongside of he and his lovely wife, Lady Linda Carlton, who both lead the Jehovah Jireh Praise and Worship Church Center in the great city of Newark, New Jersey. You can read his complete bio, for the most part, that is a shorter version, on our God Vision page, if you desire to know him more. But he's here live and direct, and you will be able to get a better sense of who he is this morning. You can also follow him on Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. on his Facebook page, Bishop Rudy Carlton, 7 a.m. every morning for Morning Manna. And he delivers an amazing word of inspiration every morning. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, I present to you Bishop Rudy V. Carlton. If you would not mind telling us and sharing us a portion of your why you are connected to the Lupus Research Alliance and what brought you to this point.
God bless you, Elder. We are so excited to have this opportunity, certainly on the platform that is uniquely yours, God Vision. And I'm so grateful that God has elevated, exalted, breathed upon, and given you the power to be able to interact with individuals. You are, amen, in such a short period of time, you've gotten to be a major wheel in the kingdom. And I'm excited about that because many people now know Elder Julia feature, excuse me, which has immediately increased my uh, visibility. And so I'm grateful to God for what He's doing, amen, in our lives. Lupus Research Alliance, one of the things that happened in my life very early, I had a sister who was my older sister, which of course is younger than I by 5 years. She developed this debilitating disease and did not know why, didn't know where, didn't understand anything about it. And for uh, many years, she was misdiagnosed. And so, therefore, she was believing that she had one thing, come to find out that there was something totally different. And when we found out that the tag was lupus, it became a devastation to us because now we were wondering, okay, is it hereditary? Is it something that is happening in our bloodline? Something that we can do something about, only to find out that for this is probably not a good term to use, but it became hit or miss because no one else in our entire bloodline has been affected with this. And so, because of that, and because it affected her, her daughter, which is my niece, we developed a moment where we said, listen, we're going to get involved with this. And when I found out about the Lupus Research Alliance and how it really had begun to gain funds, garner funds, and use the funds primarily for what the purpose of giving was, that got me so excited, Julia, to 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 make money or to give money and to let it go at research 100%.
Wow.
And that blew my mind because listen, listen, we all have participated in other fundraisers, and then people are paying salary out of that, paying
Mhm.
this out of that, that out of that, and it just really drove me crazy. And I kept trying to figure out, well, how can they afford to do this? Only to find out that the board of directors will take care of much of the expenses that the
Mhm.
organization has, which means that our doctors and physicians and trial people can do their work without
Right.
worrying about where the funds going. So that's what got me involved in it. And of course, I had the opportunity to meet a few people who were in the top echelon of the organization. And they kind of offered me an opportunity to become a board member, uh, this year, of which I accepted. And the reason I accepted, not because, amen, I have the capital, if you will, not because I have the pedigree, but because I have the consciousness and the
Mhm.
desire to work and to get the answers that are needed. And so that's why I'm here today. And I thank you for this platform because you do have a tremendous following. I know that. And so we're excited about that. And there are a few people that know me, one or two. And so therefore that means that the two of us have a following. Amen. So I'm so grateful. But on the line, there is really one who is an expert in her field, and I want you to get a chance to meet her because Joanne is a tremendous blessing to the organization. I had a chance to get a chance to meet her prior to the invitation to become a board member, and it was a match made right out of heaven, if you will. because her love, her desire, the way she cared for people, it was important to me. And so, because she had that, we were able to match and be a perfect match. So with that being said, I'd like for us to meet Joanne, who's sitting in the background waiting to come.
Good
Hello.
morning, everyone. How
Good
are
morning.
you?
Good morning.
Bishop Carlton, thank you for that very, very heartfelt introduction. I am thrilled and honored to be here. Before I get into a little bit of the history of the Lupus Research Alliance, I was saying this to the group before we came on that, this organization is totally driven by our volunteers. I have been in the nonprofit sector for over 27 years, and hands down, we have the best volunteers, and that's what drives us.
Yeah.
That is what's going to get us to a cure, to better treatments, because these people are driven. They want that cure so bad, and it's people like you that have come aboard, taking the lead, being on the board of directors with us, which we're so grateful to and stuff. And we're going to have the chance today to even talk to some of our experienced volunteers who fundraise for us and really hear their stories of why this is important to them. So I thank everybody for joining us. I'm going to give you a little history just about the LRA and how we came about. Over 20 years ago, two organizations were created with the mission of accelerating scientific research to benefit people living with lupus. And both of these were driven by family connections with this autoimmune disease. The first one, which some of you may have heard if we go back in the day, it was the Alliance for Lupus Research, which was founded in 1999 by Robert Wood Johnson IV, who is a member of the J&J family. His daughter actually has lupus. And over the years, the LRA became the largest private funder of lupus research in the world, which is pretty phenomenal. There was also created in 2000, the Lupus Research Institute by board members of the SLE Lupus Foundation, and they were there to pursue novel research as the path to progress in this complex disease. Same thing, was driven by, volunteers that had a mission behind this because of family members. And finally, in July of 2016, we merged, and this is how we became the Lupus Research Alliance. And basically, we're driven by one central goal, and it's to improve the lives of people living with this disease today and in the long term by redoubling our efforts to push lupus research forward to bring new treatments to the forefront faster. We are the largest non-governmental nonprofit funder of lupus research worldwide, which I'm extremely proud to say. And since 1999, we have awarded over $200 million in support of innovative lupus research. And it's just like Bishop Carlton has said, we are so fortunate as an organization that we can say 100% of all lupus research programs go right to the research because our board of directors covers all of our fundraising and administrative costs. When I go out, when hopefully things will get back to normal again, and when I go out and I do a lot of public speaking, that is one of the biggest things that I tell folks. You might not know who we are. Do your research with any organization that you're giving money to, because those numbers are important. You want to make sure that every last penny that you're giving is going to research. So that's a little bit of the history of the organization. I am going to be introducing a few of our speakers today. One of them, she's actually my colleague, who I am very proud to say that we work together. Her name is Dr. Teos Davia. She's our Chief Scientific Officer at the Lupus Research Alliance. I'm going to give you a little history on her background. Her role is to oversee the organization's research portfolio and operations, including leading the implementation of the department's research strategy, as well as overseeing all research initiative, partnerships, and collaborations. Until September of 2017, Teo was the assistant dean for research at Weill Cornell Medicine, where she was responsible for facilitating faculty research, development and recruitment, and leading the managing intracampus as well as intercampus collaborations with Cornell University and WCM's tri-institutional partners, Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center and Rockefeller University. Prior to joining that, Teo was Director of Immune Therapies at the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. She obtained her PhD in immunology from Weill Graduate School of Medicine and Sciences of Cornell University and her BS with honors in biology and neuroscience from Macalester College. I cannot begin to tell you how fascinating it is when you listen to Teo. We do a lot of research updates in our office just with the staff, and her knowledge and expertise are off the charts. So I'd like to welcome Teo, and thank you so much for coming aboard and doing this.
Thank you very much, Joanne, for that very kind introduction and for having me. And I also want to thank Julia and Bishop Carlton for the opportunity to join you. It's a real pleasure and honor to be here with you today. And I'm delighted to be able to share with you a little bit about the research program at the LRA. But before I do that, I want to start with something that I believe will be most important to people with lupus, and that is, what are the new therapies? And recently we had very exciting happenings because in the past 65 years, we only had one drug specifically approved to lupus. And just in 2 months, back in December and January, we had 2 drugs that were approved and for lupus nephritis. And so far, we had no drug specifically approved for lupus nephritis. So this is really a very, very exciting time. There's another drug that's currently under consideration by the Food and Drug Administration that hopefully we're crossing our fingers and hoping that that will also be approved later in the summer. And there are many other therapies that are currently in mid and late stage of development by a variety of different pharmaceutical companies. So we are very hopeful that there will be soon better treatments for people with lupus. So these are the good news, but we have a long way to go. And there are many, many clinical as well as research challenges that really prevent us from being able to provide safe and effective treatments for lupus and ultimately to have a cure for the disease. So what is the Lupus Research Alliance doing to address these? We recently developed a strategic plan for research. And what that entails is we identified the challenges in lupus research and clinical translation. We determined what our focus should be, what is the most important thing that we want to set as a goal to accomplish. And we also determined how we're going to get there, developed a plan for that. A key outcome or tenet of our new strategy is a new scientific leadership. And we're very fortunate on our board. We have some truly outstanding, world-renowned scientists who were able to help us recruit additional outstanding scientists, both from within the lupus field as well as from other fields and areas of research, to bring really diverse talent and input to the way that we approach and do research and fund research. And what this new leadership has allowed us to do is to change the organization from one that was reactionary to one that is really proactive. And what I mean is that until before our strategic plan, we used to simply respond to applications for grant proposals that we received from the scientific community. Now our strategic plan allows us to really identify the gaps in the field and then drive efforts to fulfill those gaps. And so what are the key challenges? There are many, and I won't be able to share those with you in just the 5 minutes. But the key challenge that we have identified is one on lupus heterogeneity. And our strategy is laser focused on understanding that really understanding what is lupus heterogeneity. And as many of you may know, no two lupus patients are alike. There are differences not only between lupus patients, but even within an individual with lupus during the course of disease, there's tremendous variations. And so we want to understand what drives that, what are really the cellular and molecular things that drive those clinical manifestations of the disease. And why is that important? Because this will really allow us to treat each patient with the right therapy for them. And this will ultimately allow patients to getting the right treatment will enable them to have a more effective response to the therapy with fewer or ideally no side effects. And so how are we addressing heterogeneity? We're developing several programs. Again, I won't be able to share all of them with you today. I just want to highlight two. One is we have developed a brand new Global Team Science Award, which is our largest award so far, that offers investigators $3 million over 3 years. And the goal is to bring clinicians and scientists together to understand lupus heterogeneity. And why is team science important for us? As you know, lupus is an extremely complex disease. And oftentimes, particularly in lupus, investigators sometimes work independently. And to solve this complex issue of lupus, we really need to bring researchers together and to provide them with the resources so that they can work on ambitious projects to make breakthroughs and deliver better therapies for lupus. So different researchers on these global team science approaches that we've brought together bring different knowledge, they bring different thinking, they bring different technical tools that could be applied to their studies, and combining these really provides a very powerful way to make research breakthroughs. So we're very excited about this program, and we're going to announce the first two projects that will be funded through this program in a couple of months in July. We have a number of partnerships, and those are really important to us because, as I mentioned, in the context of individual research projects, it's hard to make significant progress working alone. So we try to work with all stakeholders to leverage not only our resources, but also to bring in additional talent to the field. The final thing I wanted to mention, because this is our newest program that we haven't even released yet and we're very excited about, and that is our Diversity in Lupus Research program, where we want to bring diverse talent into the field, and we have created training programs for scientists and clinicians that are underrepresented in the field of science to bring them to lupus and to expand the knowledge base and the talent really within the field. So again, there's many other things that I would love to share with you, but given the time, I will close here. I just want you to know that the Lupus Research Alliance and all of us working there are truly dedicated to finding better treatments and the cure for lupus. And we will not stop until we have accomplished that. So thank you all very much. And I wish everyone all the very best. Thank you.
Teo, thank you so much. We greatly appreciate your time and expertise. We know this information is so important, and to kind of give you an idea of, probably people are asking where are we getting that money that Teo spoke about to send out, and that's kind of where it falls a little bit into my lap and the team that I work on. I'm in the fundraising department. I am a regional walk manager at the organization, and through major gifts, through corporate sponsorship, and through one of our biggest programs that we do fundraising-wise is our walk program. That's where we're raising funds. We are not only an awareness organization, getting the word out about lupus and what we do, but more importantly, a fundraising organization. And thanks to Bishop Carlton, he has taken upon himself to develop a walk team for us this year. We will be posting up his direct walk website that you can go to and register and be a part of. You can develop your own team. We say the more the merrier. So we would love to have everyone join us this year. It's obviously going to be a virtual event taking place on Saturday, May 22nd. We are doing a virtual platform with almost like an avatar-ish type background. We did it last year. We had a lot of positive response to it. So we hope you guys will join us. I would like now to introduce, we're going to get into some of our volunteers now. And these are the folks, I mean, I can sit and talk about statistics and, about the organization, but these are the people that are out there hitting the ground running, raising money for us. Whether they're part of our walk program, we host a gala, we host a golf outing event. These are the people that are raising the money for us. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our first lupus warrior, Kalia White.
Hello. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, I was diagnosed with lupus in 2007 of January. I was misdiagnosed for probably years, and I was having different symptoms on and off for about a year, going back and forth to the doctor, being put on one medication after medication. Finally, my doctor sent me to an infectious diseases doctor, and he knew initially what was wrong. He diagnosed me spot on and said it was lupus, and we looked at each other like, lupus? Am I going to die? What is lupus? We've never heard of it. And ever since then, it's been a fight for my life. And with continued prayer, support, also with the Lupus Research Alliance, it's been amazing help. Trying to find a cure, just medication to soothe the pain, and even sometimes the depression and all the things that come along with lupus. The support system that we have and support system that Sister Julia has even supported me with has been amazing, and my family and those around us. So if you are around somebody who has lupus, support them, aid them in whatever they need. Sometimes we may not even talk about it, but just being there is absolutely and will be a help. So thank you for this time, and I pray all is well with all of our loopy warriors. Take care.
Kalia,
Yes.
listen, let me also welcome you and thank you for being a part of this event that we're having. I noticed that you said um, I didn't know anything about lupus, and it kind of caught me off guard. And what year again was that you said that you were diagnosed?
2007.
So 2007 is really, for all intent and purposes, hadn't been a real long time, but it is a long time for a young woman such as yourself. Now, what have you found to be a source to get you through this, even though it is rather individually, diagnosed with you like this? But how have you been able to deal with it? Any thoughts along those lines?
Honestly, with a great support team, a great support system. My family, friends, they've been absolutely amazing. They've been to all the walks, hospital visits, which are a lot,
Yeah.
appointments, just a great support system that really makes such a difference.
I'm glad to hear that because we do know that depression can come along and those kind of things can take over your life cycle, especially when you're all alone. And there are times when you're by yourself and you're wondering, okay, out of all the people in the world that this could have happened to, why me? And I want to just encourage you and let you know that God is not only working in the background, but he also is working in the forefront. And you're going to be the better for this, and you're certainly going to be stronger. And I
Thank
just
you.
want you to continue to be encouraged and know that all of the people that are working that you don't even see are working on your behalf, and God's going to give you victory over
Thank you.
this moment. Bless you and thank you so much.
Bless you too. Thank you.
Kalia, thank you so much. Thank you for your continued support with the LRA, and it is so important. I thank you for bringing that up, Bishop Carlton. This is a disease where you need support. There's no question about it. I have heard so many stories in the years that I've been here of it's taken years for people to be diagnosed correctly. They've done the journey alone. It's been very painful, both physically and mentally and stuff. So definitely reach out to those people that are closest around you. Let them understand this. This is why it's so important we do these type of events so people really understand. You look at Kalia, she looks like a rock star. You would never think that she suffers from a disease like this, and that's a lot of the misunderstanding here. So, Kalia, thank you so much, and I wish you all the best in your journey as usual.
Thank you, Joanne.
Next up, we are going to invite Deb Schwartz. I met Debbie about 3.5 years ago when I first started back at the Lupus Research Alliance, as I had previously worked here when they were the ALR. Debbie is a true New Jersey girl, but now lives in Georgia. And she has been coming up to the walk even ever since when she moved. And we are hoping too that we can get some involvement down in Georgia now with her being there. She's a driving force for us. So please, everyone, welcome Deb Schwartz.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for inviting me. My story starts out a little different. I was in and out of hospitals for years, not understanding what was going on. I was always tired. My face would turn red and it burned like fire. My son actually used to call me the big red cherry tomato because I was so red. So for years, I was trying to figure it out and they couldn't figure out. They kept saying, maybe you have leukemia. They tested me for leukemia, cancer, and other diseases. But I found a doctor in my hometown that actually said, I'll listen to anything you have. And what I did one night was, it was bothering me so much that I had a dream to ask about lupus. I don't know why, never understood what lupus was. And so the next day I called the doctor up and I said, can you test me for lupus? And he gave me this face like unbelievable, like, how do you know what lupus is? And he said to me, I'll test you. And like a week later, he called me up and said, you have lupus, but you also have a lot of other autoimmune diseases. So I decided to get involved with it. He diagnosed me in 2013 with the SLE. And I saw that year there was the LRA that was doing a walk at the Giant Stadium, or MetLife Stadium, because it's sponsored by the Jets, thank God. And it was a perfect reason to get my children to come for a walk. They got to walk on a football field. So I became active just to find a cure. I know everyone suffers and there was no cure. My history is that my maiden name is Debbie Schwartz and my married name is Debbie Schwartz Schwartz. So my team name is Deb Squared, making the squared Schwartz Squared. So I was the first in my family to be diagnosed with this, but I have a feeling my father had it because he has to have the red cherry face like me and was always burning and achy the same. So I became very involved with it. That was the first way Debbie Schwartz Schwartz, or Deb Squared, can become involved with finding a cure for this disease. My team is back in New Jersey, and I have a team of almost over 40 people, and I'm trying to bring it back to Georgia, but this gives me an excuse to go back to my hometown to find a cure. I've also become an advocate in Washington, D.C. So I talk to our representatives to try and get some income and money to help find this cure and not, help others that are suffering. My friend was later diagnosed with lupus, whose name is also Debbie. So now my name, Deb Sweared, has new meaning. We found every time we went to Washington, we found a staffer who knew people with lupus. So it became personal, and we wanted to get them to understand what lupus was and why it's so important to find a cure, because there was nothing that was working. Finally, I got on a medication, and I thankfully have been in remission for a few years. However, I do have those loopy days where I just am depressed and I lie down and I find out that we are in this together and we're going to find a cure for the future. I'm recently in 2 studies being done out of Emory, where they're studying about lupus and COVID and the medications that are affecting with all of us. And I think if I could help anyone understand it more, I'm always here to help. And I know that we're in this together and we're going to find a cure for lupus. But it's such a devastating disease that I can't thank you guys enough for helping us. And the LRA is the most important thing in my life right now, because everything, 100% of their donation goes to finding a cure. And I just want a cure for my future generations if my son becomes loopy or gets any autoimmune diseases. It's so important to help the next generation. So I thank you all for helping us spread the word. I really, really appreciate it.
And we also appreciate you, Debbie. And we know that the great work that, of course, you've been doing here in New Jersey, we're going to do all that we can to help you become the torch bearer for us in Georgia as well. I didn't tell you, but Georgia is my birth state. So that's why I call you a peach before. Amen. Because, amen, everybody, Georgia is the peach state. So we believe that it's a powerful, powerful place. You know, I thank God for the assignment that has been given to me and certainly put into my life, and that is to serve as the spiritual leader for the walk, if you will, because we wanted to make certain that we could make an impact, because there's so many nonprofits and other religious organizations that are out there supporting various things. And what we find is that because there are so many different, um, you know, items that need to be cared for, you got heart disease, you got, cancer, you got this, you got that. You got so many of them that are out there. But the one thing that not only was it because my sister was diagnosed and later transitioned because of it, but the mere fact that it was not a popular known disease, and it attacked. Initially, we thought that it was mostly females, and in those um, in their productive years. But we found out also that males also are affected as well. And so it became a marching order, if you will, for me, because I began to believe that it was important to understand how we could prevent this from happening to people, and it snaps just so quickly, come at you so quickly, and you don't know what's going on. And then thank God for medical development, and they're able to do that. And I want you to give. This is a goal that we have. This is rather ambitious, but I believe that even today we can secure, amen, contributions of better than $10,000. I believe that. And I'm believing that we're going to be able to do it. We've got information that's going to be posted throughout this time, and we want you. And listen, your small donations and your large donation, they are both important to us. Do not think that because I'm giving $20 or $25 is not important, because it has the same value as those who give 500 and 1,000. So we want you to be a part of the solution. I don't want you to sit on the sideline and think that I can't do anything because I don't have much to give. You know, uh, I'm a pastor, so little becomes much. And God knows how to breathe on it and increase it and make it become greater. And so I'm looking for each of you to just, tell your neighbor, tell your friend, repost the giving piece that's running along the bottom of the screen. Repost it. Invite your people. Tell them, say, listen, if you tap in today, not only will I be extremely satisfied, but I'll also always cherish you for working for somebody else. Because it's people like Kalia and Debbie who needs our support. And we want you to be able to support them. Listen, if you do it, if you get excited, somebody else will get excited. As one of my bishops always say, excitement breeds excitement. And so if God can do it for you, you do. Listen, if you got good health, be grateful, be thankful, but also take care of the needs of somebody else. And don't worry about those things, because watch God. He's going to do something great. Thank you so much again, Debbie. And I look forward, amen, to a team of greater than 40, amen, in the state of Georgia. Bless you and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Debbie, thank you again. We can't put enough gratitude out for what you do. You are such a huge advocate for us, and it really is making a difference. And Bishop Carlton couldn't have said it better. I know people feel like, oh, I can't give a lot. I can only do $5. Listen, if there is ever a time that every dollar counts, it's now. It definitely is. And we know that there are still issues going out in our communities. We know that the pandemic is still here with us and stuff. But whatever you can do, we are greatly appreciative to it. And know that no matter what donation you make, small, large, whatever, that it will be put to going to the best lupus research, because that's all we do. So our next lupus warrior coming up is Chastity Trent Gilbert. We are thrilled to have her aboard and supporting the event. Chastity, welcome.
Hi, Joanne. Thanks for having me. So, good morning, guys. My name is Chastity Trent Gilbert. I received this invite from Elder Julia and Bishop Rudy V. Carlton. I have a personal connection to the Jehovah Jireh family, who works in excellence when it comes to ministry in the city of Newark and just throughout the world. This is a wonderful platform to bring awareness to lupus. This is very, very, very important to me because in 2018, I was diagnosed with the disease. Not like many others before me, I did have a little bit of knowledge of lupus because my father, the late great Darrell Bethia Sr., um, his sister, twin sister that is, passed away in her 20s, 21 years of age, back in the early 80s with the disease. I didn't have in-depth or detailed information about it, such as symptoms, what causes it, is there a cure, will I live? But it was hereditary. Because from years to come, he also lost his first cousin, who was in South Carolina, and then his older sister, Auntie Annette Tyson, who's on the live as well this morning. view, and she's living with the disease. But I was in denial. I was sick for many, many years. My mom and my dad would ask me, "Did you want to get tested for lupus?" I said, "Oh, no, it's fine. You don't hear much about that disease." Until 2017, excuse me, the end of 2017, I was very, very ill, breaking out in multiple rashes, the butterfly rash. Most of the lupus warriors will know. My nose was itching, and I just thought it was allergies or eczema. You know, we self-diagnose ourselves because we don't want to hear that we have a debilitating disease or sickness or living with something. Um, I broke out in bad hives. My skin began to just rip apart. I started losing my hair in big, large chunks and clumps, um, and to the point where I was debilitated. I wasn't able to function every day. Couldn't go to work. Couldn't comb my daughter's hair. I called my mom one morning because my husband, who was also a great support system, without him and my mom, I don't know what I would do. But um, he works a later shift, and I didn't want to bother him, but I was in so much pain. My face had swelled up so you couldn't even recognize me. My hands had went into a ball where I couldn't even unball the fist. So I called my mom, who also works a late shift, but I just needed to let someone know that I was in pain and that I couldn't take it anymore. So that Saturday morning, January of 2018, my mom took me over to the hospital. The moment we got there, I can say we sat in the emergency room less than 30 minutes. The doctor said, "Mom, I don't know if you want to stay with her, but she's going to be here for a while." They had ran multiple tests, couldn't find anything. Um, all they can tell me was, "Your lungs are filled up with fluid. Your kidney is failing. We don't know why you're breaking out this way." So I was in the hospital for 9 days at this point, and they called in a specialist. He came in and he said, "Do you mind if I test you for lupus?" He said, "Is this something you aware of?" And I said, "I'm not aware of it, but I do have knowledge of the disease." He said, "I really want to test you for this. I want to test your double strand DNA. I want to test your ANA. I want to do blood work." And then I was able to go home on the 12th day. And then I got the phone call that you are diagnosed with lupus. I cried like a baby because I didn't understand what was getting ready to happen. The first thing that came to my mind was, "You're going to die," um, because it was so aggressive for me when I was diagnosed because I waited so long to be treated or to go find help and see what was going on. So he said, "Can you come into the office? I want to hook you up with a team." He said, "We need to get started on treatment right away." So I went to the office, and for most people with lupus, they are diagnosed with SLE, which is systemic. So I was diagnosed with that, but I was also diagnosed with CLE, which is the cutaneous, meaning that I have discoid, meaning my skin breaks out in the sun. So I don't like the heat, and I also don't like the cold. And you know, we like to enjoy family and have do things in nature and have fun and go outside, but it's not good for me personally. My body had broke out just really, really bad, just awful rashes, to where I'm feeling okay now, but the scars will never go away. It's not a guarantee that my hair will ever grow back. And that's okay because I'm happy to have life today. Um, when I was sitting in the hospital those many days to have my children come visit me and their mom not able to help with homework or comb their hair or just go back home with them, period, was a wake up call for me. I just wanted to fight. Um, I denied a lot of treatment because I just didn't know what was getting ready to happen to me. Um, I was on the Benlysta, I was on the iron treatment. I mean, you name it, it did not work. And then one of the doctors on the team said, "We want to try chemo treatment." And I said, "I don't have cancer." And they said, "Oh, it's not just for cancer." Um, so they put me on what you call methotrexate, which is a high dosage of a chemotherapy that with cancer patient, it attacks the tumors, but with lupus patient, it shocks the immune system. Um, And overall, I can say today that I'm doing better, not 100%. But what I like to say is that I have lupus and lupus does not have me. And what I mean by that is that I have control over it every day. I know what I have. I may not be able to bear the pain each day, but I won't let it control my everyday life where I feel like I don't have anything to live for anymore. So I am a strong advocate. In 2019, I started having a self-care women's platform where we host different seminars, and all of the proceeds go towards the Lupus Foundation, um, to raise awareness to this awful, awful, awful disease. But again, I'm happy that you guys invited me today, and whatever I can do to share my experience and my story. But most importantly, what can I do to help raise this awareness? Because I'm pretty sure there's more out there that can be suffering with some of the symptoms and could have lupus, but just does not have the knowledge or know what it is.
Yeah. Denial is something. And especially for us who are believers, because we sometimes we just say, well, I walk by faith and not by sight. We speak life and we should, but so often, um, you know, Jesus told us one time we need to pray, but we also need to watch. And so it becomes important, I think, that many of us, if you believe something is not properly happening inside of this this house that you have control over, you need to go check it out. And so I thank you, Chastity, for your continuous support. And as I stated to you, I know your family is on the line, and I'm so grateful that they're all there and they're supporting you, and that you're supporting Jehovah Jireh. Out of all of the things that you could be doing, Amen. We appreciate you coming in and being a part of us. And I just love the fact that, Amen. Listen, if your hair don't grow back, girl, you look here. Beauty is not in hair. What you say?
Yes, yes. But I
And
had
that,
to learn that, Bishop. I really did. And that's another reason why I want to help women with this sickness, because we're so used to the makeup and the hair thinking it
that's
defines us. But what happens one day when you wake up and it's gone
mhm,
and not knowing if it's coming back? So this disease can cause you to be depressed. And to Kalia, who was on earlier, very, very inspiring story. We need a support system,
yeah,
because there are a lot of times we act out of emotion as lupus patients because we don't understand ourselves. So having that great support system and caregivers, I give a lot of love and support to them as well. My mom and my husband was my top two caregivers, and they can tell you I was mean a lot of days because I
yeah.
didn't understand.
Yeah, yeah, same thing. Same, I think, diagnosis and behavior pattern with my sister as well. She would sit down and she just, launch out at you, and you'd say, "What's the problem here?" And she'll look at you like, but it's that kind of thing, and that's why you need the support system so that folk can see and not judge you by your behavior, but realize that it is an attack. And so it's an attack that needs to be dealt with. Thank you so much, Chastity.
Thanks for
Yes.
having me.
Yes.
Chastity, if there was ever the definition of lupus warrior, lupus survivor, you are that picture, really. Um, Thank you so much for sharing your story. It's stuff like this that's super important, to educate folks, to really make them understand, because lupus does not have one set of description for every single person of what they are going through emotionally and physically. So by you guys sharing your stories and stuff, it really makes people understand, really what this disease is about, that it is very individualized, and having that support system and family and friends around you will only hopefully make the journey a little bit easier. So thank you, Chastity. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Joanne.
Our final speaker today is Candy Brown. I met Candy about 3.5 years ago. Same thing when I rejoined the Lupus Research Alliance. She has been a part of the New Jersey Walk forever and ever and ever. And she's a huge advocate for us. And we thank her for coming aboard and sharing her story.
Sorry. Hi, good afternoon. Hi, Joanne. Thank you for having me. Bishop Carlton, thank you for having me as well. Elder Julia, thank you for having me. My story begins similar to the other ladies. I was diagnosed in 2008. I was lucky. I was diagnosed rather quickly. My problems came when it was time to give me the right medicines or the things that would keep me quote unquote healthy. So I had to have the chemo. I had to have the roulette of medicines and pills and doctor appointments. And finally, what ended up having was I was diagnosed with lupus nephritis, which is lupus that affects my kidneys. And I had to have dialysis as well as after I had to have the chemos. Eventually, I had lupus nephritis stage 4, so my kidneys were shutting down. And speaking of support system, I have an amazing support system because my brother was the one that actually donated his kidney to me, which is why I can sit here alive and well and speak to all of you guys today. But after I was diagnosed was when I found also, I had no idea what lupus was. I didn't know anyone with lupus. And in my research, I found the LRA, then the ALR, and all the information that I found and the things that the organization shared and the walks and the community really that they provided was what has gotten me through, in addition to my family, because I'm a person that needs information. I need to read and find out what I'm doing and why it's happening to me and what I can do to help, right? So yes, there are days when I feel like this is crushing and I can't get out of bed. And then there are days that I see like, I need to do something and help people. And in helping people, I need to be able to speak and be knowledgeable about what I'm saying. So I found the LRA and I started doing my research on my own. And with all the chemo and with being in the hospital after the transplant, I had a lot of downtime in order to find information that I wanted. And that's the type of path that I took with the disease because I don't like not having control of it. And like someone mentioned, I need to be able to control some of it. I don't know how my body's going to react from one day to the next. I can't be out in the sun too long, so I can't enjoy the outdoors and so in doing and not be able to do those things. I read a whole lot and in reading and being part of the LRA, I found that the best way to contact people and to reach out to people, even if it's bugging them for donations or sending them information or posting about lupus and all of its awareness, is the best way for me to participate and for me to help other people that have lupus as well. And so I want to, oh, my dog, 1 second. He was quiet the entire time. I'm so sorry. But in determining that I was not going to let lupus be something that was going to hold me down or that's going to take over my life, I decided that I was going to do as much research as possible and try to extend that research to other people and sharing my story. And even though I hate public speaking and my voice sounds all quivery because of it, this is the best way that I know how to do it. So thank you for having me.
Well, you know, dogs will be dogs.
He was quiet though for the whole hour.
Listen, Candy, we want to thank you so much for letting us know. And see, again, I think that all 4 of you showed us how different this disease attacks and how the different effect it has on each of you. In your case with your kidney transplant. And so, you know, it's that kind of thing. And you've gone through chemo and other things, and it hasn't affected you quite like it affected someone else. So those are things that has a way of encouraging us as we sit back and rather than be depressed completely and non-functional, it causes us to say, okay, you know something, if it works for her, then it's going to work for me. And I really appreciate that. You know, we've been running the thing along the bottom there, give.lupusresearch.org/team/350909. And we want you to tap in because we believe that today we're going to get a tremendous response from those of you that are on the line. You can take this information and paste it and put it on your own private line, if you will, because we want you to be just like us, an advocate. We want you to be somebody who says, you know what, I didn't know too much about lupus, but I also see that it can catch me unaware. So why wait till I get sick? Let's do something now. And this way, your timeline will probably not be as long. I think the longest one was Kalia with 2007, and you're right there, 2008. But also, whether it was long or whether it was short, it's still going to be important for us to find that cure. I believe that, Joanne, I believe today is the beginning of us meeting our financial goal, and that we're going to be able to do what needs to be done. Because let me tell you something, Taya wants money because she wants to be able to find these avenues and these resources and these people with skills who are scientists and doctors and physicians and other persons. She wants to be able to, amen, cut them a check so that they can go forward and be able to find that cure. So listen, I want to thank Elder Julia today for being the catalyst for putting us all together and for making this a larger platform than we normally do. Joanne, I want to thank you so much for being, amen, who you are. We can't do this without you. I told somebody before, if you want to know how to organize, call Joanne. She knows how to handle this business. So I'm grateful and thank you all so much for doing what you do. And amen. Joanne is back in your hands.
Thank you, Bishop Carlton. First and foremost, a very, very special thank you to Elder Julia, Bishop Carlton, Teo, Candy, Debbie, Chastity, and Kalea. We couldn't have done this without all of you. And for those of us who joined today, thank you so much. Like Bishop Carlton said, the information is scrolling down on the bottom. You can always go to www.lupusresearch.org, where we have all the information that was given out today, plus more. You know what, folks, together, we will get there. It's just that we can't always keep relying on everybody else. So no matter how you choose to make a difference, we welcome you to the Lupus Researcher family with open arms. And we're here for you. That's the bottom line to it. And I think the more people that we educate and explain to them about this disease and stuff, I know I've seen it in the last 3.5 years that I've been here, the amount of people that have been newly diagnosed that never even thought that they would have lupus. So spreading the word is going to get us to the cure. There's absolutely no question about that. So if you have any questions, you have any information that you need answers to, please reach out to me. I'm always here. And let's do our best to get Bishop Carlton to his $10,000 goal, folks. Thank you so much, everyone. God bless you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you again to you, Bishop Carlton, Joanne. What a wonderful presentation today. I pray that we do reach that $10,000 goal, Bishop. We are pushing it. We're going to push it all day long. So come on to our viewers, share, like, comment, push, give. That's the most important. We want to see our ladies here, Candy, Chastity, Debbie, and Kalia continue to live strong and live well. And the next generation thereon. And so if you can please give, it's scrolling down at the bottom of the screen, give.lupusresearch.org /team/35090. If you can post that on your timeline today and encourage your family and your friends and your followers, your coworkers, whomever, to just give to this great cause. We appreciate it greatly. And thank you, Dr. Teo, for sharing that amazing information about research. We're excited to look forward to hearing more about the upcoming positive research that's going on in the different testing and experiments that are happening currently, and these newfound medications that are being utilized. So we're grateful again. Thank you, Debbie, Chastity, Kalia, and Candy. You did an excellent job. You weren't nervous at all. We couldn't tell. So thank you, ladies. I wish you all the best. Enjoy your afternoon. Happy Mother's
Julia,
Yes,
before we leave, we do want to remind them that the walk is on the 22nd of this month. What's the timeline again, Joanne?
It's Saturday, May 22nd. The virtual platform will begin at noon until 2 p.m. But please always remember, you have until December 31st to raise funds that will be credited for this year. So it doesn't stop on May 22nd.
Amen. Okay.
Sure.
Thank you all so much.
Yes, happy Mother's Day to those. And make certain you find a place of worship tomorrow, whether it's virtual, whether it's live. Make sure you get there. And thank you. We'll see you again real soon. Thank you, Bishop Carlton, Jehovah Jireh. Of course, we love you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Najee. Butterfly East Graphics Design. Enjoy your day.
Thank you.